News Radio 840 WHAS, Bob Sokoler, Louisville Real Estate Show here with you till the top of the hour. We've got an interesting show about real estate. First, let me introduce the participants for today's show. It's the amazing Chuck Crosby, who owns the Crosby Law Offices, does a great job of all of the closings, writing wills, a lot of legal stuff, as we like to say, mumbo jumbo, the legal mumbo jumbo. And you can reach Chuck anytime for whatever mumbo jumbo fits your bill, including closings, at 499-6360. And if your mumbo jumbo happens to be getting a loan, then we can't recommend anyone higher than Randy Rocky over at Swan Financial, who was backed by popular demand after his vacation last week or week before. 645-0736. Good to see you here, Mr. Rocky.
Good morning, Bob.
Good morning. All right, we start off real quickly. We start, and my son Greg, by the way, who does our photography and our marketing and so much more. And then me.
Don't let me. I'm actually doing some right now as we go. So if I don't seem attentive, it's because
you're doing
I've got
something
my
else.
Focus on different things.
Well, and I've got me, 376-5483, Bob Sokoler. We'd love to help you talk about the plan for selling your home this year, next year, or beyond. Right up top, real quickly, Randy, mortgage rates, applications to refinance a home jumped 18% a week or two ago, adjusted and still lower, 50% lower than a year ago. But because rates are starting to go up, people are jumping on the bandwagon. Is that what's going on with go ahead, give your NMLS number. Go ahead.
Right, NMLS number 2473 and 26362. And what they're doing is they're doing a lot of cash out refinances as well. People are they've had so much more value in their home, and so they're doing it for a numerous amount of things. So yes, that's why they're taking advantage of it right now.
And so with the interest rates hovering, where are they about? I mean, let me say it so you don't have
around
3.5,
around 3.875. We're up almost to the 4.
Almost to 4. So where would someone's mortgage rate, like if Chuck was thinking about refinancing his palace, where would his interest rate have to be for him to physically need to refinance it? Would it be at 5? Is that enough of a spread?
And because Chuck's house, it'd be a bigger mortgage. So usually in that scenario, you can be a quarter to a half a point and still make the number work.
Oh, really? A half a point to a quarter? Oh, that's interesting information. So check. We'll give Randy's number out again in just a minute. So a couple other quick things. 1/3 of homes for sale are new construction. I found that to be interesting because we got such a shortage.
It needs to be. Yeah. We need more.
And then adult kids moving back in with you. Have you had that happen yet, by the way, folks? Chuck, maybe you, Randy? No?
Yes.
You really? So you're not alone. As the pandemic caused by COVID-19 has continued, more adults, young adults, have chosen to move back to their home with their parents. And to share
rents are going through the roof, and you can't, it doesn't make any sense.
Highest on record, by the way, since 1960. All right. If you are thinking of painting your home, I'm looking for participation from all of you. Painting inside your walls of your apartment or your house on these cold days. New study, which was done by Living Cozy, home design resource. What's the number one color that you think you would want to paint your home? Let's go around the horn here. Greg?
Agreeable gray.
Gray, agreeable gray. Yeah, that is a popular color. Go ahead, Greg. You?
I mean, for a photographer, gray. Everything is gray.
And Randy, I know you're working on your house. What color?
A lighter white.
Well, believe it or not, the number one color is classic white. This is a
white's
shocker.
Good too.
Yeah.
Balanced neutral is good. The lighter the gray, I would say, the better too, in most circumstances. So you're good.
Here's where these get weird based on the survey by Cozy, Living Cozy. Number 2 in popularity
and colors.
The living number 2 in popularity is green. I don't get it. I really don't.
Well, if it's what I'm saying, if it's an accent wall. So if you've ever my house, we've got all gray walls, and then in my master bedroom, our back wall is one of those like funky, trimmed out walls with just a pop of green, but everything else is gray.
They're saying
I was talking to one of Louisville's premier builders who's remodeling our house at the moment, and he said that everybody is going for agreeable gray.
I've heard that
Very
before.
agreeable.
Do you want to plug your builder?
Oh, Scott Welch, Welch Builders.
There you go. That's a plug from
great builder.
Now tell him he's been on the radio. He needs to give you a discount. All right.
Yeah.
By the way, shades of sage, olive, jade are trending as well. Third in popularity, real quickly, then we'll get to the questions. Blue is the third popular color, including shades of teal, turquoise, and light blue. I don't know about that.
Well, if you look, my cabinet right here,
I see it.
In the navy, gorgeous blue. It's a gorgeous blue.
And if you'd like to see Greg's cabinet, we can help you with that. We're recording our show for Zoom, which means we rebroadcast it on YouTube. To see it, go to, if you believe it or not, LouisvilleAnswers.com, LouisvilleAnswers.com.
Yeah, I set you up there.
It did great job.
That's part of and there's so much more that I do.
And so much more. He set me right up for that. All right, so let's get to some questions. And again, we're in our COVID mode. What we're asking you to do is send us an email with the question, a title in the subject line, radio question, and then send me the email with the body of the question in the body of the answer of the email. So that's what it really comes down to. Let's start with Mr. Rocky with mortgages. Christopher writes in he wants to buy a home that's on the west side of town. His loan officer says that the rate of the mortgage is going to be higher because of where he's buying a home. He's asking, is that true? Why is it higher? Randy?
Is that seriously a joke, or are you being serious about the
No, he's being serious.
I'm not trying to be a smart aleck.
No, he's serious.
Wow. Chuck?
Yeah, I know.
Chuck?
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I was asking the same thing. I was like, is that real? What?
Well, I'm going to say this it doesn't matter where you're at. In fact, that's redlining, and there is,
right.
You talk about a legal problem with that. That is beyond comprehension. I can't believe that somebody would tell him that. That's if literally somebody did that in my company, and I don't have many situations where they would immediately have to be terminated from my company. I don't know how else to put it. And I'll leave it at that.
You can't swing a dead cat by the tail around your head downtown without hitting at least 5 agencies, both state, local, and federal, that would jump all over that.
Got it.
Yeah.
So I would tell him he needs to.
That is the most interesting question we've ever had on the show.
We've had. I know. I get it. But listen, we take all of them. Whatever it might be, we are here to help you. So let's go to this next question. Dawn sent us an email saying she is buying her first home with her boyfriend, Paul. On this for you, Chuck. Is there a contract that the two of them should sign between each other before writing an offer or buying a house? This is a very interesting email. So Dawn and Paul, they're, I guess we would say, cohabitating. What should they do for safety?
So is there a prenup that's for people who aren't ever going to nup? No, it's not. Once you go on that deed, there's just nothing you can do in court. There's no rights that you would have. The judge isn't going to decide, oh, you broke up, so now we're going to divide the property. You go on the deed, that's an issue. I run into that regularly where, as a matter of fact, I think I've got 2 or 3 going right now where a boyfriend just says, nah, I'm not going to sell. And we broke up. Yeah, but screw you.
So what do you suggest then? What is the a letter or something?
Don't do it.
All right. Well, I'm hoping there was something.
I mean, getting something written up saying, hey, these are our agreements, et cetera, et cetera. But then it's a matter of contract, and you're going to have to.
But listen, Chuck, we could say don't do it, but then you could just tell your buddy don't get married either. At the same time, it's like you're going to deal with it if you're going to come to that point in your life. Somebody might be stubborn.
What I would say is that if you're going to be both putting money or value into the property, then okay, go ahead. Lots of people do. But if it's going to be, oh, hey, I loved you, I'm going to put you on my deed, I'm taking the loan, I'm providing the down payment, but we're both going to be on the deed, at least both parties ought to have skin in the game. If they don't have skin in the game, well,
you're saying, Chuck, is there's just no need to do that. There's no legal. You're not married by contract, and so why would you just do it out of the goodness of your heart, unless there is a financial investment? And then you could, you could LLC it. You could come up with some sort of agreement that you could draft up. Whatever, right?
But if there's no skin in the game, that's where the problem that I see arise. I can't say that 2 people that are both on a mortgage, that are both on a note, have ever done this to each other that I've seen. I'm sure it's happened.
Yeah.
But when I see the issue, usually it's a non-borrowing boyfriend, girlfriend, and they break up later. They're on the deed. They don't have any liability because they didn't sign off on any of the loan docs.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a good idea.
Yeah, we just had one of those a couple of months ago, and I think you're absolutely right. All right, so this next one, and this is for Randy, so listen up, Randy, but Chuck, this involves you. We've talked in the past, Chuck, that you're not seeing a whole lot of surveys done by buyers when they're buying a home. Am I correct about that? You're still not seeing a lot of surveys of the land?
I'm not seeing a lot of it. There are a few agents, some of the bigger ones in town, who will have it on every single property.
Got it.
But on the whole, no, not seeing it.
Yeah, well, the problem is no one wants to write that in. Anything that's going to clog up the function of the sale, and surveys can, because they can take time to get out. Then you got to get the results back, and you might have to dispute it.
And then
most people living, most people living in a normal neighborhood are going to go on unless you're living out in rural areas, you're going to go on the good faith of, let's hope the builders did their due diligence, and if we come up something down the road, we'll figure that out.
All right. Well, so Kimberly wrote us this email. She's asking, who pays for the cost of the survey of the property? Does the lender require a survey for loan approval? Randy?
No, they don't. Unless you get into a double wide, you have to get surveys done most situations. But no, you do not have to. And if you want a survey, or there's a reason for a survey, then the client pays for that upfront.
The buyer does. Yes. Yeah. But you could conceivably.
Yeah, the buyer. I'm sorry.
The buyer does. You could conceivably ask the seller to pay in the offer, but you're crazy because you got so much competition.
Yeah, you got when we talk about inventory, right? We talk about how most of the inventory is at a month's or less supply, and anything we've had multiple agents write clean, great offers, and the only things they're leaving in there are appraisal deficiency gaps or waiving them completely. And if you don't waive everything completely right now in a serious offer in these prices, you're going to lose.
Yeah.
You're going to lose.
Yeah. Over to
now,
Chuck.
title insurance can step in. Title insurance can step in if the property's over 25 acres. And then it's not a matter of the lender needing it. Then it's a matter of can't write title if the property's too large without a survey.
I did not know 25 acres was the point of demarcation. Okay, good. Eric is writing in for you, Chuck. He says the process of buying a house is going on right now. And he says that he and his agent had sent over a counter offer to the home he wants to buy, but then he was notified that the seller had accepted another offer, and he's upset and wonders why it wasn't given a chance, or he wasn't given a chance to outbid the other buyer if there was another buyer in the picture. Why didn't he know about it? Why wasn't he given a chance? Chuck and Greg could also answer this too. You actually did.
A counter offer is a rejection. So it's as simple as that. There's no duty to let you know that there's anybody else involved. Give me your best offer. Don't give me your best offer. I'm going to take it or not. But if I come back and say, if you say, no, wait a minute, I'm going to counter, you've just rejected the contract. So we're back at square one.
Yep. And as Greg pointed out, how hot the market is right now. You can't play that game. Yeah. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, I was shocked when I read this. I think you will be too. 11 things you should not store in your bathroom. We'll go through them quick, but they're shockers. With us, we have got Chuck Crosby, the Crosby Law Offices, 499-6360. Randy Rocky, Swan Financial. They do a great job as well with loans at 645-0736. My son Greg does our marketing, photography, so much more. And you can reach me as we're trying to get ready for this big push for home sales. We'd love to come out, talk to you, review the process, no obligation, free of charge. Doesn't matter the price. Could be $10,000, could be $10 million. Call me at 376-5483. We are back in a moment on News Radio 840 WHAS. News Radio 840 WHAS, Bob Sokoler, the Louisville Real Estate Show, back with you, along with Chuck Crosby, the Crosby Law Offices at 499-6360. Randy Rocky, Swan Financial, 645-0736. My son Greg, who does our marketing, photography, and so much more. And you can reach me to help you with your house, to list and sell it. We have also got buyer agents that will be more than happy to help you at 376-5483. I read this. I was shocked. 11 things you should not store in your bathroom. As we go through this, tell me if you think this is something you didn't know, guys. First of all, medicine. Don't keep medicine in your medicine cabinet. And we're not just saying that to be ironic. Medicines and vitamins should be stored at room temperature between 68 77 degrees. Keeping them in a moisture-filled room like your bathroom can make them less potent and cause them to go bad before their expiration date. I found that to be. So why do we have something called a medicine cabinet in our? I don't get it.
Next, well, maybe because the medicine cabinet technically is supposed to keep it less humid in there, and this report is just going off of hearsay.
Next shocker as well. Towels. Bathrooms are the perfect breeding ground for mold and mildew, and your towels are easily susceptible to these gross fungi.
April 1st.
No, it's true. It's true.
Not April 1st. Don't put your medicine in your medicine chest.
It's fine to keep one towel hung up in the bathroom as long as you swap it out once a week, turning on exhaust fans, and I think this is important, can help dry out the room. Your bathrobe is another one of those things that needs to be cleaned or eliminated. Books. How many have a reading library?
Who's bringing the books into the bath? Who's leaving?
There's a reading library for many of us who like to do a little work while we're working.
Oh, that's right. Bob always had the magazines. That's right. You always had all the magazines.
Yeah, right. Yeah, thank you.
There's some good. There was some
books
good
and magazines kept in the bathroom.
Absorb
the books and bathrooms absorb moisture. Don't leave jewelry in there. Jewelry boxes generally kept should be on dressers and vanities, but in the bathroom, no good. Toothbrush. I can't believe this. This says yes. All the rumors you've heard are true. 2012 study from Manchester University in England found that your toothbrush may house more than 10 million bacteria.
Yeah, there's a whole thing because if you keep it close to where you use the bathroom, you're supposed to put the seat down before you flush. There's a whole thing.
I just saw something new. It's an ultraviolet little light that goes around your toothbrush brush.
Yeah.
Have you seen that? I may buy that now.
Smart
Makeup. Listen, Michelle. This is my girlfriend. Michelle, makeup, no good. Leaving your prized makeup products in the bathroom exposes them to a lot of unwanted heat and moisture, which allows mold to grow. Same thing with perfume, nail polish, and razor blades.
So this report is saying everything you used to know about a bathroom, take it all out.
I kid you not. This is the truth. I got this. Okay. All right.
Put things in drawers. You'll be fine.
I'm just telling you, back to the questions.
Heat rises, steam rises, keep an open door, get your fans working.
Yeah, it's true. Matthew sent us an email, Chuck. He says he wants to sell his house for sale by owner, but knows nothing about the process. He's wondering how much work is it and what type of problems can he get into if he makes a mistake? This is a great question.
Chuck, you charge by the hour, right? You can get lawyers charge by the hour. You guys are good.
Yeah, but I don't even do the stuff that you guys do. That's the thing.
I know.
Yeah, I get those phone calls regularly, and it's like, look, if there's like a million things you can mess up, and I'll throw out a couple of things like, well, do you have a copy of a sales disclosure? Do I need one? It's like, well, and I just point out a bunch of things that they don't know. Say, look, if you want to go on, you're going to run afoul of something almost guaranteed, but hey, there's real estate agents out there. But some people still proceed, and
they want to do it.
Then I get to clean up the mess.
And this is America, and you can do whatever you want. And
I do things all the time now that I'm getting older, where I'm like, is my time worth this? Right. And some people have all the free time in the world to deal and to see what a full-time job looks like. And they're like, oh, well, yeah. And those used to be like, maybe I should get into real estate afterwards. Like, well, it's a full-time job. It's not the worst job in the world, but it's a full-time job. At least you respect that now. So,
All right. Moving on.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I was going to say, whenever they say, things like, well, they charge so much, et cetera, it's like, well, it reminds me of the orthodontist who, when you complain about their bill, they can hand you a box full of wires and niblets for, $10. But what are you going to do with it? You just can't get on the internet and figure this stuff out.
All right. Randy, this is a great question. It just came in after we talked about this a few minutes ago. Brittany's listening. Thanks for listening, Brittany. She says she's thinking about buying a home next year. And by then, now based on what you're saying, with the interest rates hovering around 4.5 or more, they could be 5 and a little bit higher. So Brittany is asking in her email, at what point does it pay to consider an ARM if she's only going to be in the house for 5 or 6 years? That's a great question.
Well, they're somewhere around 4 right now, and government loans in the mid 3s. But it pays on an ARM if you can get something, if you can get a 7-1, or in her situation, you probably want to do a 7-year ARM. And, if you can get it somewhere around a 0.5 point less, then it would be a scenario where we would do that. Right now, that's not the case. It's still we're still in a situation where a 30-year fix makes more sense.
Okay.
Yeah, and when we've seen every now and then, physicians loans are the most common that we'll see. That people will reach out and get a 7-1, or students at U of L, or whatever the case may be. You're here for a short time, then you're doing your residency and you're out, and you know it, and you can be confident in this market. You buy something nice, it's gonna sell fine.
But I'll tell you, congrats to Brittany for thinking ahead. She's a year out from thinking about buying, but I would tell her to also do, and it doesn't need to be with our team. It could be any agent that she knows, if she's got friends, is to have them put you on a search now, so you can start seeing what home prices are doing in your area.
And what you'll tell people now is that whether you do it now or you wait until next year, where the rates are probably going to be a little bit higher, 4%, 5% is still a lot better than 100% rent and no income received. So no matter when you do it, you should still be working towards that goal.
Well, and better than what.
And the other thing, the other thing is that you should go ahead and get your credit pulled. My wife and I pull our credit every 3 months. And if you're looking for a home, it should not affect your credit. And the reason you want to do that is we would have more time to fix things if we need to.
Good point. Very good point. By the way, she should still, Brittany, listen, when I bought my first home, which was, I think it was like 1980, I was paying 12% interest, and it was an ARM. Yeah.
And that was low for the time.
That was low
for the time.
So Julie Chuck is planning on selling her home. Sent us a question about the TVs. She has mounted them on the wall. She says she's thinking of leaving the TVs and the mounts there at the house. But what happens if the buyer doesn't want the TVs and she has to remove them? Who fixes the holes in the wall, and do they need to be fixed at all? Chuck?
Well, how big are they is the question. I mean, if they're monstrous, well, that's something I imagine they'd want fixed. But normal holes and stuff like that, don't you guys go through and talk about that with your clients?
We do.
It should definitely be.
Yeah. Greg,
it should definitely be discussed. If the TVs are one thing, because that can be considered personal property, but the actual, what we'll commonly see is that you'll leave the bracket itself. As long as you're leaving that's kind of the fixture. And it's expected. If the seller wants to fix it, you could pay for somebody to unpatch, but the seller should have, or the buyer rather, should have verbalized before on final walkthrough, as Chuck's alluring to, at least at that point, that, hey, why are these TVs still here? I don't want them here. And then before you close, that's one of the things you say, well, let's move them and look at the contract and see what stipulates what. Greg,
you just moved some TV mounts from one house to another. How big of a hole did they leave in the wall? Was it like a pinky?
You just got to be handy. A little, at most, pinky is the bolt size. You go to Home Depot, buy you a little $5 jug of see if you get some the remainder paint in your basement. Go get you a little $5 patch. You don't even have to get a tool. You can use your finger, scoop it, do it. Get some sandpaper, do it nice. Get some fine sandpaper, do it nice. Paint over it. It's very simple.
Yeah. All right.
Do it before you put the home on the market, if you're going to do it that way, if it's a weird location. But if it's a normal, above the fireplace, mount, bracket, whatever, and you want to take the bracket, do it. Nowadays, brackets are so cheap online. I get it if you want to recycle, but be whatever.
But that's if the buyer wants the bracket to begin with, is what I think she's wondering about. And you can leave it in. Yeah, in fact, we should just plug this. We use monoprice.com for wall mounts. monoprice.com. Just FYI, we don't get anything back from telling you about this. This is just for your knowledge, folks. All right, I think we have time for one more. Randy, Summer says she's about to purchase her first home later this year and is wondering what are the top 3 mistakes that she and other first-time home buyers make when buying a home. I thought this was a very nice, interesting question. Top 3 mistakes. Can you come up with those on the fly?
Yes. I think mistake 1 is not planning quick enough and getting your credit pulled. It's very important to do that in case if there's any issues with buying the home. Again, we have to close it with 120 days, but if in those scenarios, we're usually in great shape as long as we know, hey, this is what we're working with, and then when we get closer to her making an offer, we pull the credit again. So if we have to, if it's not going to close in 120 days. So that's mistake number 1. Mistake number 2 is not having enough credit, especially a first-time home buyer. Credit cards are good to have. And my kids, all 3 of them got a credit card 3 credit cards when they turned 18. I got them within, a month. And it's $300 prepaid cards. Because that's the only way you do it if they don't have a job. So then you build your credit And number 3 is if you can save for a down payment or get a gift, it's much better because you will get a lower interest rate and less of a payment. So I think those would be the 3 that, as far as my side, that you would need, that I would really focus on.
I think they're all 3 good suggestions. Good job on the fly.
Well, they all start and end, honestly, with the financing, because the biggest one is when first-time home buyers or anybody come through. It's, we want to look for a house. We're like, have you spoke with the lender yet? No, we're okay. We've got jobs. We're fine. Okay, you still, that's the first thing you need to do is know how much you can afford in a real-world sense, unless you are paying cash, in which case, then you don't need to speak with a lender. But, other than that, you do.
We are out of time, you guys. Some quick updates. If you need us to help you, you can call, but also go to LouisvilleAgent.com and fill out the form. If you want to see reviews for us, go to LouisvilleZillow.com. This is our Sokoler team, Louisville Zillow or LouisvilleGoogle.com. And also you can sign up for our newsletter, which is actually pretty cool. If you haven't had a chance to review it, go to WeLoveLouisville.com. WeLoveLouisville.com. All right, we're out of time. My thanks to Chuck Crosby, the Crosby Law Offices, who does a great job, not only at closings, but also wills and a variety of all that stuff that you go to an attorney for. And if he doesn't do it, he knows somebody who does. He's a good guy. 499-6360. Chuck, good luck with all the renovations at the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Been 2 weeks. We've been sleeping in my daughter's bed. It's like,
ooh.
I want my bedroom back.
Hey, our question next week, by the way, is if you are having trouble sleeping, we know the answer. We'll tell you about that next week. It's in your bedroom is the answer, but we'll tell you exactly what.
Say it's in my liquor cabinet.
Randy Rocky, Swan Financial. Thank you, Mr. Rocky, for everything you do and your help. Yes, sir. At 645-0736. They do a great job. My son, Greg, who's I'm very proud of, does marketing, photography, and so much more. And again, you can reach me anytime, 376-5483. We are out of time. See you next Sunday on News Radio 840 WHAS.